Hello, dear students. I hope you all are doing well. So, let's start our new topic that is called stress management. And the funny thing is that right now I am a little bit stressed about few things, and I am teaching you stress management. Yes. Now the thing is that we all go through some kind of stress, and stress is a part of life. We cannot, nobody can avoid it. No matter what you do or what you practice, stress cannot be avoided. So if you are living as a human being, so stress is important part of. Why important? Because stress is sometime brings positive results. So as a human being we cannot avoid stress, but when it becomes chronic, or when stress becomes dominate when stress dominates your life, then it is really dangerous. So I am going to teach you some of the tips or some of the ways by which we can manage the stress. And before we learn how to manage it, we should also learn that what causes stress and what are the symptoms when we actually suffer from stress. All right, let's go for the literal definition. Stress is the body's reaction to any change that requires an adjustment or response. The body reacts to these changes with physical, mental, and emotional responses. Stress is a normal part of life. You can experience stress from your environment, your body, and your thoughts. So, as the definition says, that stress is the body's reaction to any change that requires an adjustment or a response. Now, if you think of a situation, suppose if you have assumed a situation that this thing will go like this, and if the thing that you have pre-assumed, if it doesn't go the way you have assumed it or you have thought about it, then it may cause you stresses. And there are also thought patterns or your mental patterns that also be responsible for causing stresses. Sometimes the stresses or the situation may be real. Okay, then that may be your mind can experience stress because of the regions which are real. For example, if somebody announced today that tomorrow you will have a test of class test, so you might feel a little stressed or about that, like, oh, tomorrow is a class test, possible. Sometime it is possible that there is no class test, right? But you are assuming, what if tomorrow is a class test, or what if a teacher announces that tomorrow is a class test? Teacher hasn't announced it yet, but you have imagined in your mind that tomorrow it may be a test, and you are being stressed about it. Okay, so the stress may be caused by imaginary situation, or may be caused by the real situations. Both are possible. And the second thing also important to understand is that there are so many things, or there are so many times when we cause stress. We are responsible for the stress that we invite for us. We'll talk about it later on. Let's talk about the types of stress. What type of stresses we go through, and which one is dangerous, and which one is normal. Acute stress. Acute stress is usually brief. Acute stress will come for a small fraction of time, maybe. It is the most common and frequent presentation. Acute stress is most often caused by reactive thinking. Negative thoughts predominate about situations or events that have recently occurred, or upcoming situations, events, or demands in the near future. For example, stress due to upcoming exams. Possible the intensity of the stress. Let's take an example of exams. The intensity of your stress depends on two things: that how much you prepared. If you are really someone who is concerned about a career, and who spend a good time in studying and improving your studies or subject knowledge, then it is obvious that you are stressed about your performance. And students who are reckless and who are not interested in studies, and who did not who haven't worked hard for their exams, they might also be stressed that whether they may be promoted to next class or not. So see, both are stressed. The one who is working hard days and night, he or she is also stressed, and the one who spent his entire year in playing and watching TV and not taking care of studies, he or she is also stressed. And maybe they are stressed with the same intensity, but their cause of stresses are different. So what I'm saying is that any upcoming situation may cause stresses in your mind. And I told that stress can be invited by our actions, and sometimes the stresses are caused by external situations. We'll talk about it later on. Now, next one is called episodic acute stress. Now, acute stress is the one which we often experience it, and everybody experience acute stress, no matter how much organized you are. But sometimes we are maximum people experience these stresses, unless you are not a saint or a sage or a monk. But as a normal human being, we all experience the acute stress. Now, if you are suffering, if you experience acute stress over and again, which means that you are stressful about situation over and again, and you are worried about things quite often, then that will be called episodic acute stress. So people who frequently experience acute stress, or whose lives present with frequent triggers of stress, have episodic acute stress. I said being stressful sometime is common, but if you are stressful over and again, or if this stress comes periodically, then it is called episodic acute stress. The individuals who frequently suffer acute stress often live a life of chaos and crisis. Now, if you are, let me give an example. If you are late for a school, maybe someday, okay, then it is possible that there may be cause of a coming late to the school, that you missed the bus, and what if you are missing the bus every day, and you are coming to school with a fear, stress in the mind. What if I reach late? What if I have to stand during assembly? What if my parents are called because I am being late every day? So you are coming with this stress every day. What if you are always stressful about your performance in the exam? Maybe exam is 2 months later. So the thing is, you may be stressed about a situation, and that stress is coming to you over and again. So that will be called episodic acute stress. So they are always in a rush to feel feel pressured. They take on many responsibilities and usually cannot stay organized, with so many time demands. These individuals are perpetually in the grips of the acute stress overload. One more main cause of an episodic acute stress is when you take so many responsibilities on yourself, that you try to manage everything by yourself, then also it causes these episodic acute stresses. Because when you will try to handle so many things, so that is obvious that you will suffer from stress. So you can assume, you can think about it, that whether you are under the stress, most of the time, or once in a day, or maybe twice in a day, or once in 2 days, or like that. So you can easily understand that which category you are falling in, whether you are suffering from acute stress or episodic acute stress. Now last one, and which is the most harmful type of stress, is called chronic stress. The thing is that when you do not handle a stress at the beginning, it may be very harmful for you, for your emotional, mental and physical health. It has lot of negative effects on your mind, or on your body, or on your emotions. So the stress is to be handled in the beginning only. And if the stress are caused by yourself, then you are fully responsible for handling those stresses. Fully responsible means that you, even if you cannot handle it alone by yourself, then you can take the help of other people. Fully responsible doesn't mean that you have to handle it by yourself only, but the thing is, you can take the help of other people to handle your stress. Let's see about chronic stress. Chronic stress is the most harmful type of stress. If chronic stress is left untreated over a long period of time, it can significantly and often irreversibly damage your physical health and deteriorate your mental health. I said that chronic stress is to be treated. Actually, the acute stress, the episodic acute stress, is to be handled properly so that it doesn't turn into the chronic stress. Chronic stress may be caused by some other things, which are out of your control, out of your hand. So we should learn to treat these stresses so that it does not dominate. The stress does not dominate our life. Let's talk about the example of chronic stresses. For example, long-term poverty, repeated abuse in any form, unemployment, dysfunctional family, poor work environment, substance abuse, or an unhappy marriage can cause insignificant chronic stress. There may be other lot of reasons for a chronic stress, that you are under the stress all the time and it is somehow damaging your health. It is causing disturbances with your emotions, and you are not peaceful in your mind. These are the symptoms of chronic stresses. Then when you are under such stresses, so it is obvious that it is going to harm your emotional, mental and physical health. Chronic stress can also set in when an individual feels hopeless, does not see an escape from the cause of stress, and gives up on seeking solutions. Now, suppose a student works very hard to study, but somehow he is not able to maintain good grades, or the grades that are required to get promoted to the next class. So that may feel that maybe that can cause a chronic stress. Again, example, suppose a student is have a negative friends environment, or one has negative friends, and somehow a student has got into negative habits. He has adopted some negative habits, and somehow he's failed to escape from those habits, or maybe from those people. So that can also cause stress, and that stress may be chronic stress. And when chronic stresses increases, or it dominates your life, so it is converted into the depression. So depression is something more dangerous than the stress. I said stresses can be handled. Depression becomes little bit irreversible to handle, right? Because when you are depressed, so there are so many other things that you feel, and which are which go out of hands. So you need a therapist, or you need a psychologist, or someone else who can help you to uh, you know to bring you out from that depression. So my request is that you have to understand the causes that are inviting these stresses, and you have to deal with it by yourself, and also with the help of other people. Let's see what causes the stress. Examination, obviously. uh, I have put the topics that are basically used for students. So there are different people, the cause of stress for different people, with different background, with different job profile may be different. Okay. So for school level, it may be examinations. Obviously, examinations bring stress. Deadlines mean, suppose you set a deadline like by 15th of May you will finish this task, and if somehow you are not able to finish this task, then it will cause stress. Suppose if your teacher has asked you to submit your work by next day, by tomorrow, and you are not able to complete it, it will cause stress. So that is deadlines. Returning to study. Suppose now you are playing, and now and you have to study maybe for tomorrow's test, or maybe you have to practice mathematics which you do not like. That can also cause the stress. Difficulty in organizing work. If you are not able to organize your work, your homework, your classwork, your pursuing of hobbies and other activities, then it will cause stress. Poor time management. We had already a discussion on time management. So if you cannot manage your time properly, so this will cause the stress. Leaving assignments to the last minute. If you do not work, suppose if you have to do uh, some work today, and if you leave it for tomorrow, and tomorrow again you got some other work, and you leave it for next day, so on a single day you will have a lot of work to do. And to avoid this thing, I have already taught you that to make a to-do list. Like to-do list will help you to organize your tasks. Overcrowding. If you have a lot of crowd around you, that can also cause stress. Adjusting to life in a new environment. If you change, if you change the school, or if you go to new neighborhood, then that may also cause stress. Difficulties with personal relationships. So another another reason for the stress could be that you are not able to handle your relation with people. Maybe you fight a lot with your friends, or you fight a lot with your family members, with your siblings, and there is a lot of arguments every day at your home. That may also cause stress. Poor sleeping habits. If you sleep very less, and if you sleep very long, then that may cause stress. Parents or problems at home. That is again a part of stress. If suppose if your parents are not in a good terms with you, or they are not good terms with themselves, or maybe there are other problems at home. So obviously you are going to get affected by those problems. Over expectation from yourself. Now if you keep yourself under you expect a lot from yourself, and somehow you are not able to to able to achieve that expectation, so that will cause the stress. Now if you expect yourself that you should study 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours a day, and if you are not able to study even 30 minutes, then obviously it is going to cause these stresses. These were the cause of the stresses. And what are the warning signs of stresses? How will we notice that? How will we understand that whether we are under the chronic stress? Dizziness or a general feeling of being out of it could be one of the symptom. General aches and pains can also be a warning sign. Grinding teeth or clenched jaws. If you grind teeth all the time, and if your jaws are clenched, then it may be a cause of stress. So when you overthink about a situation, you will clench your jaws. So clenched jaws can also be a symptoms of stress. Headaches, indigestion or acid reflux symptoms, increase in or loss of appetite. Either you eat a lot or you do not eat. Muscle tension in neck, face or shoulders. Problems in sleeping, racing heart, cold and sweaty palms, tiredness or exhaustion, trembling or shaking, weight gain or loss, upset stomach or diarrhea. These are the symptoms of these stresses. Now, as I said, we all go through stress. Maybe it is acute or episodic stress, or sometimes chronic stress. The thing is that we should be able to treat it. We should able to control it or handle it before it becomes a very dangerous thing for us. So we now in this part will learn how we can reduce stress. See, I have not mentioned how we can remove stress. We cannot remove it. We have to reduce it, because at times we will be stressful, and that is obvious. As a human being, will be stressful about things. We are not monks, okay? If we are living a normal life, then we are supposed to be stressful. I mean, stress is a part of our life. It's normal, but when it becomes dominating factor in your life, then it has to be handled. And there are so many things that we can do to reduce that stress, or even to bring in. We can reduce stress, or if we are proactive, then we can reduce stress to the a lot of extent. Fine. So first one is indulge in physical activity. If you exercise, or you do yoga, or if you go for a jogging or a morning walk, or for a running, then that will help you to reduce stress. That keeps your mind healthy and body healthy, and obviously a healthy body is less prone to this stress, or it is not vulnerable. If you do not do yoga or morning walk, so you are more prone to get affected from this stress. Get more sleep or rest if needed. See, if you work very hard and you do not sleep in time, or your sleep cycle is wrong or disturbed, then you will suffer from stress. Next, try relaxation techniques. Now, we all have something to do, or we all have something that we do and we feel good. Maybe it may be listening to the music, playing with small kids, or maybe a walk, or talking to friends, all right, or maybe watching a funny program. So find out what are the things that reduces your stress. Okay. Now here I don't mean that suppose you have you tomorrow suppose tomorrow you have a test and you are stressful, and watching TV makes you feel better. And I do not mean that you watch TV so that you don't feel stressful instead of studying for tomorrow's exam. No, I didn't mean that. I mean that when you are stressful, you did your best, and still you are stressful, then you can go for these relaxation techniques. But the priority should remain, should not be changed. Like if your priority is to study, then study first, and then you can find out some relaxation techniques. Talk to someone. Now this talk to someone is important. Talk to someone. Now whom to talk? If you talk to your friend, so they may for a short period of time your stress may be reduced, but you should talk to someone who knows how to handle stress. It may be, if it may be your parents, for example, or maybe someone who is more mature than you, maybe a teacher, class teacher, or a counselor, anybody. If you find someone who can understand you, and someone who can give you solutions about it, then talk to them. Keep a journal. We had already a discussion on this part, like what are the benefits of keeping a journal. So when you keep a journal, when you write your thoughts, or your your when you pour your mind into words, in a form of words, in written words, then it helps you to manage your control your emotions, manage your time, manage your mind. So keeping journal may help you to reduce stresses, and it will also let you know what are the things that are causing the stress. Meditate. So meditation is important part. One day we will talk about this meditation thing, in a separate section. But meditation, let me give you the simplest example or simplest method of meditation. All right. It may be, you can draw a small dot on a white sheet, very small black dot on a white sheet, and stick that white sheet on a wall. Okay. Now stare on that small dot for 1 minute, for 30 seconds, then 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, only staring at that dot and removing the thoughts, and then keeping the other thoughts away from you, can help you to relax your mind, and can help you to organize your thoughts. The other technique you can use it like breathe in, like, right, and focus on breathing. Like when you focus that when you are breathing in, then breathing out, holding the breath. So if you focus on your on your breathing, then this is a form of, this can be one of the form of the meditation. We'll talk about it later on. This is a big topic. Take control. I said there are many of the stresses that are caused by us. So if we know that if we know that what are the things by which we are causing these stresses, then we can obviously handle it. For example, if we do not study well, we are inviting a bigger stress of exam. If you study well, we will be less stressed. If we handle our time, or if we manage our time carefully, we will avoid a lot of stress. Okay, so you can take control of your life. 99% control of your life can be taken. 1% stresses can be caused from outside situations, and which can also be handled with how you respond to those stresses. Manage your time carefully. We have already discussed in this time management. And the last one is learn to say no. Now let me give you the simplest example of this learn to say no thing. Now suppose your friend asks you to do some work and he or she is capable of doing that work by herself or himself, right? But they request you to do it and you are already overburdened with your own tasks or own work, but you could not say no. Then what will happen? You will invite more stress. So in our life, most of the time, when we cannot say no to the people, we bring stress. Yes and no, these are the two most important words that will determine the quality of your life. Say yes to the things that uplift you and no to the things that bring you down. Again, this is another topic that we should discuss someday. Anyways, so that's all for today, and hope you will learn to manage your stress. First, you will learn to know what are the things that are causing stress. Are they your habits, or are they your poor time management skills, or are you being stressed from some external factors, or is there a problem in your family? So first you find out the causes of your stress, note them down somewhere in your diary or a journal that I advised you to make it, and then try to find out the solutions for those stresses. If you cannot handle those stresses by yourself, and feel free to ask to your teachers or any elder at your home, anybody who can help you to manage your stress. That's all for today. I will see you in my next lecture. Bye bye and take care.